Three people walk into the same bank on the same morning. The first has -$4. The second has $80,000. The third has 5 million. Same building, same logo. Completely different experience because banks don't treat you based on who you are. They treat you based on what's next to your name. Level 1. Negative balance. You wake up and check your banking app before getting out of bed. -$4.17. You stare at the number for a second, hoping maybe your eyes read it wrong. They didn't. You already know what happens next. The overdraft fee is coming. $35. The punishment for not having enough money is somehow losing even more of it. The charge that caused it wasn't even important. Spotify. That's it. A subscription you forgot to cancel 3 months ago. You transfer money from savings. Too late. The fee already processed. Then another charge hits. Apple storage. Another overdraft fee. Now your account is -$74 because you were short by 4. That's how poverty works in modern America. Not one massive disaster. Just tiny penalties multiplying quietly in the background until breathing starts feeling expensive. You leave for work, trying not to panic. At the gas station, you swipe your debit card. Declined. You try again immediately, like confidence might change the answer. Declined again. There's a truck behind you now. You can feel the driver watching through the windshield. You cancel the transaction and pretend you forgot your wallet in the car. Then you sit there for 10 seconds, staring straight ahead, before driving away on almost empty. That's what financial anxiety actually feels like. Not dramatic speeches, not cinematic suffering. Just small humiliations repeated often enough that your nervous system never fully relaxes. You call the bank during lunch, hold music. A woman finally answers. You explain the situation carefully because somehow you already feel guilty. She says, "Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do at this time." Her voice sounds practiced. Not cruel, just detached. You ask if she can reverse at least one fee. Keyboard typing. Pause. No. You thank her anyway. That part always feels strange. How poor people apologize during conversations where money is actively being taken from them. The next morning, your rent payment bounces. Late fee. Your phone bill fails too. Another fee. The original $4 mistake became a $200 problem in less than 48 hours. You skip lunch Wednesday, not because you plan to, because your account has $23 left and payday is still 2 days away. Your coworker asks if you want food. You say, "I already ate." You didn't. But hunger feels less embarrassing than explaining your bank balance. That's the real effect of financial pressure, not just stress. Performance. Pretending everything is normal while mentally calculating survival every few hours. You walk into the bank Friday afternoon, fluorescent lighting, cold air conditioning, muted CNBC playing on a television nobody is watching. You wait 20 minutes before someone finally calls your number. The teller smiles at the customer in front of you, then she looks at your account. The smile changes slightly. Still polite, just reduced. You've seen this expression before, not judgment, recognition. The unconscious look people make when they realize you need the system more than the system needs you. Suddenly you become aware of everything: your shoes, your voice, your account, your existence. She processes the deposit in under 60 seconds. No small talk. No, "How's your day?" The next customer walks up. Her smile returns immediately. You leave feeling embarrassed for reasons you can't fully explain, because somewhere between the overdraft fees and the declined card and the waiting room television, you stopped feeling like a customer and started feeling like a problem. Level 2. Low balance. Things are technically better now. Your account isn't negative anymore. Usually there's around $400 available, sometimes $800 before bills hit. You become extremely good at mental math. You know exactly how much groceries should cost before reaching the register. You know which gas stations process charges immediately and which wait until tomorrow. You know which subscriptions renew this week. You know your balance before opening the app because survival trained your brain to memorize numbers automatically. The bank charges a monthly maintenance fee, $15, to hold money you barely have. The minimum balance required to avoid it is $1,500. If you had $1,500 sitting untouched, you probably wouldn't need the fee waived in the first place. You apply for a credit card, denied, then approve for a secured card, which means you give the bank your own money so they can lend it back to you while charging interest if you miss payments. You reread the offer twice. It somehow feels insulting and normal at the same time. You take it anyway, because without credit, one bad month becomes an emergency immediately. A tire blows on your way to work. You use the secured card to pay for it. The balance notification arrives instantly. You feel anxious immediately after spending money that technically already belonged to you. That's what debt feels like at this level. Not luxury purchases, tiny emergencies destroying fragile stability. You walk into the branch again 2 weeks later. The woman in front of you is discussing investments with a banker behind glass walls. They're laughing. The banker walks her to the door afterward and shakes her hand. When your turn comes, the interaction lasts 43 seconds. You ask if the maintenance fee can be waived. The teller says, "Unfortunately, your account doesn't qualify." No explanation, no alternatives, just policy. You leave realizing something uncomfortable. The bank isn't angry at you. The bank barely notices you exist. Level 3. Stable income. Your paycheck becomes predictable. Direct deposit every 2 weeks. Same amount, same day. The system notices immediately, not emotionally. Algorithmically, the maintenance fees disappear automatically. 1 month you open the app and realize the bank finally stopped charging you for existing. Credit card offers start arriving. Real ones now. Metallic letters. Pre-approved. The same institution that ignored you 8 months ago suddenly wants a relationship. You apply. Approved in 90 seconds, $4,000 limit. You stare at the screen longer than necessary because for the first time in years, the system said yes immediately. You start carrying yourself differently without realizing it. Tiny changes. You stop checking your balance before ordering food. You stop calculating groceries item by item. You stop fearing random notifications. The stress doesn't disappear completely, but the volume lowers. You call customer service one afternoon after noticing a duplicate charge. The hold time is shorter now. The person sounds friendlier. The issue gets solved in one conversation. You notice something strange. The bank became easier to deal with the moment you became profitable. You walk into a branch one afternoon. The teller greets you before you even reach the counter. Not warmly, but intentionally. You suddenly realize systems treat people differently long before society openly admits it. Level 4. Savings. You've been consistent for years now. Not lucky, not dramatic. Consistent. There's $15,000 in savings, retirement contributions happening automatically, bills on autopay. Your card never declines anymore. That alone changes your personality more than you expected. You stop flinching every time your phone buzzes. You stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios while driving. You stop checking your banking app before sleeping every night. Then something strange happens. The bank starts helping you. Credit limit increases appear automatically. Loan rates improve. Fees disappear faster. Problems resolve themselves quicker. You buy a car. The interest rate is almost half what it would have been 3 years ago. Not because you negotiated better, because the system classified you differently. That's when you realize something nobody explains properly. Money changes the price of money itself. The less you need help, the more help institutions offer you. You email the bank about a random fee. 3 hours later, taken care of. No argument, no hold music, no escalation. The same fee that once felt permanent is now optional. The rules didn't change, your category did. Level 5. Preferred client. You walk into the branch. Someone stands up to greet you. Not the teller. Someone with an office. They know your name before checking your ID. You skip the line completely. The same line you stood in for years pretending not to look stressed. A relationship banker gets assigned to you. He remembers details, your city, your job, the fact your sister moved to Chicago. At first it feels personal. Then you realize remembering details is part of the business model now. The bank wants to keep you. Competitor banks start calling, offering better rates, better savings tiers, mortgage pre-approvals. The same institutions that once charged you overdraft fees are now competing for your attention. You realize banks don't become generous when you gain money, they become interested, and interest feels surprisingly similar to respect. Level 6, high net worth. Everything becomes easier: wire transfers, loans, customer support, fraud alerts. Problems disappear faster because powerful customers experience less friction. That's the real luxury rich people buy: not cars, not watches, reduced resistance from everyday life. You don't call customer service anymore, you text someone directly, and they answer immediately. A banker visits your office, carrying investment reports inside a leather folder. The meeting lasts 90 minutes. Nobody aggressively tries selling anything. The relationship already passed the selling stage. Now it's about retention. You attend a private dinner hosted by the bank, floor to ceiling city views, expensive wine, 8 clients. Nobody talks about money directly. Money is simply the environment everyone exists inside. You realize something deeply uncomfortable there. At lower levels, money controls your life. At higher levels, money controls other people's behavior toward you. Level 7, private banking. You stop entering through the main lobby. There's a private entrance now. Coffee already waiting. Conference rooms upstairs. No waiting. No scripts. No fluorescent lighting. The interest rates aren't public anymore. They're negotiated privately. The investment opportunities aren't listed online. They're offered quietly. Your banker knows your children's names, knows your attorney, knows the foundation you mentioned last year. The relationship itself became part of the product. One afternoon, a transfer issue happens overseas. At level 1, this would have meant hold music, multiple departments, 3 business days. Now someone fixes it in 12 minutes. You barely remember it happened. That's the final thing people misunderstand about wealth. Rich people don't just own better things. They move through a softer version of reality. And somewhere right now, someone is sitting in a parked car outside a gas station, checking their banking app repeatedly, hoping the balance somehow changed. Same bank, same logo, same system. Completely different world. The bank never changed between levels. It simply revealed who the system was built to protect.